Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fandom Flux podcast, episode 36. There's a rule for this one, isn't there? I
Maybe.
forget what it is.
I feel
Never
there
mind.
is, but I can't remember what it
Oh
would be.
well. If it was a good one, missed opportunity. My apologies. As always, I'm your host, KCW, and with me we have Slicer Nurse.
Hey guys.
Kenchi. Shit.
Hi, I'm Kenchi618, and if there's ever a Hurricane Kenchi, it would be so much more powerful than Ike and Katrina that would have to evacuate the entire southern seaboard.
And Zero.
Here with a crystal clear quality mic. Yay!
Yay.
Yay. That really is our thing now, isn't it?
Of course it is.
I suppose it is.
Yeah, okay. We do yay. Okay.
Yay.
So I'm going to start with what we're doing because what we're doing is what we're doing, and what we're doing is what we're starting with. So what are we doing? Start with okay. I know what Slicer's been doing this week, so we'll start with Slicer.
That was actually like just today that I was doing that. So
Granted, but I've been watching his video feed on YouTube.
that's still creepy. Anyway.
Still a little creepy, but it's public. You have it set to public for things you like and such.
He's watching.
Yeah. So, a side note: don't eat 97 Freezy Pops in 8 hours. Don't.
Yeah, that sounds like a bad idea. I can eat like 3,
Yeah.
and that's not healthy.
That sounds scary. What happened?
I settled in to watch as much Red versus Blue as I could. That's what I've been doing, and so I just got a box of Freezy Pops out of the freezer, or the deep freezer, the big one outside, and I just started eating. And by the time I hit season 6, I had ran out, and there were 100 in that box. Well, there were 97 because I'd eaten 3 before.
Wait, holy shit! You're already up to season 6?
Yeah, they're only like an hour and a half long per season, so
Yeah,
it doesn't take that
You
long.
watched the miniseries?
Yeah,
Oh,
both of them.
Yeah.
So I'll be starting what's apparently known as the good season after this, I guess. Well, actually,
Oh, so
probably
you just finished season 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I just finished the miniseries after season 5, but yes.
So what were you thinking about them seasons?
I'm curious.
I'm really surprised at the consistency of the characters. Actually, I mean, they're all stupid, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the
comedy.
production value. I mean, it's really obvious they just had somebody play as a 4th character in the early seasons, but yeah, it was surprising. Even still.
Yeah. That's how it's filmed in all of the seasons. Well, they eventually start using animation as well,
hmm
but that's like season 8. Everything is just done with someone playing as the cameraman.
I expected them to have some kind of special software for it.
No, it's all done in game until season 8, and it's actually really impressive if you get into all the technical details of how they managed to pull off all the shots. Like the very first pan-up shot from the very first episode,
hmm
where it's looking up, that's in the tank.
Oh.
And I think there's some shots that are taken from outside of Red Base, and they had to actually totem pole on top of each other to get someone up that high.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, there's all these weird little techniques that they ended up using.
I'll have to check if they have
Yeah.
some kind of behind the scenes thing. I'm
Yeah.
sure they do, but yeah.
Probably. Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff on the DVDs.
Mm.
I don't know. It's probably on YouTube as well. But,
Oh, yeah.
It's interesting stuff. How they managed to get around all the
Technical limitations, I suppose.
of just working with a game, yeah.
Aside from that, I'm convinced I can't own consoles anymore. Because my PS3 is now works, I suppose, but not very well. It's got error code 80010201. I have it written on the back of my hand because I'm going to go turn it in later today.
What did you do?
Nothing. It's been saying that since I got it. It's just, it took a while to finally crap out. It's apparently that code means something inside of it having to deal with the Wi-Fi is fried, so it doesn't connect with controllers very well either. As a result,
I'll tell you what he did. He saw the light.
what?
PC Master Race,
Blinded by the
motherfuckers.
light.
Ugh, fucking morons.
Praise the sun.
Yeah, praise the sun. And
Slice is like my follower. Like, last week I said I'm just a PC gamer now, and he's already following me.
I don't know. I've been forced into the PC gamer role for a while now. Actually,
Hmm.
the PS3 is my last dying hope, I suppose.
The last
Uh,
bastion for consolism in
Yeah.
Slicer's world.
Well, it's not like it really makes much of a difference anymore. I mean, you use a controller for everything either way.
I refuse to use a
Yeah.
keyboard. Actually, I use
Yeah.
a controller for everything that I can, and if I can't, I don't play it.
Yeah, it's not comfortable using a keyboard anymore. I just can't do it.
No. I'm struggling to remember what else I did this week, but it's been pretty uneventful. So that's about it.
So what do you think of the comedy
In the Red versus
in
Blue.
Red vs. Blue? Yeah.
Well, my
I'm gonna
favorite
make this a
character is
segment.
actually Sister, so that should probably say something about my terrible
Wow.
taste.
Nah.
Okay. That's... Okay.
Well,
Sister,
no,
really?
actually, no. I should say my favorite character so far has been Church, and recently it's been Sister, just because so many weird things she says. It's amusing.
Yeah.
What does she get bad later or something? Or
No, she pretty much drops off the face of the series.
alright.
The actress was doing something else. I don't remember what it was. Yeah. The colorblind thing is what sticks out in my mind. Joining military service where the two sides are red and blue, and she can't tell between them.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of curious what they would look like to a colorblind person. 'Cause it's not like all color is gone. It's just colors look different.
Yeah. I honestly don't know. I don't... Is there a way to become colorblind or to become uncolorblind?
Not without injury.
Okay. Because I don't think you'd be able to say either way what it looks like unless you'd been both.
Yeah.
Because I think most treatments for colorblindness, like the, I don't know, picking out which colors don't work very well together and such things, are just basically trial and error.
Pretty much.
Just people kind of figuring it out based on what works and what doesn't, and not actually knowing what it's like on the other side, as it were.
I'm actually kind of surprised the humor hasn't gotten old.
Mm.
It's still funny. I'm still enjoying the series every bit as much as I did when I first started the first episode. So, then again, maybe
Good stuff.
it's because I'm marathoning the entire series. So I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. It has a little bit of drama from this point on. But the comedy is still there and better, in my opinion. Because it's more cohesive plot-wise. That's just me.
My only problem is actually oddly enough, the plot of Halo itself is kind of, I don't know, it feels shoehorned in almost. Like they got almost bored of the Red versus Blue plot, so they added more serious elements, I suppose.
Yeah, the Halo stuff is pretty much abandoned. As far as the first 3 games are mostly concerned.
Mm.
There is a very specific element of the Halo universe that is used for this point on. And it's pretty awesome and fascinating, in my opinion,
Well, alright then.
the way they work with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad
So-
to know that improves.
Yeah, they don't deal much with the rest of the whole thing, like the Covenant and Tucker's energy sword thing. That doesn't play much into events anymore. Much.
The entire plot has just been so weird.
Yeah, that was a weird turn.
I thought it was just supposed to be just like a gag, I suppose, for just a little while, but it's turned into kind of an entire arc.
Yeah. Well, that bit's over anyway.
Yeah. So, next person, maybe?
Let's go with 0.
All right, so last weekend, shortly after recording, I went to this festival that was happening at my mom's school because my mom's a teacher and she teaches first grade at a private Christian school. So she was having this festival thing where all the teachers had their rooms all decked out to look like different countries, and they all had like little tiny food from all these different countries and everything.
Oh,
Little samples, right? So Japan was awesome. They had sushi there. It was great.
oh, I want to
Awesome.
try sushi.
You never had
And
sushi?
It's pretty good
Oh,
stuff.
that's
I think it was like Sweden or something, but they had coffee and it was just cold.
What?
Like they had a little cup. It was just cold black coffee.
Ew.
And then it was sweetened cold coffee. And my brother's like, I drank that. And I deeply regret it.
Yeah, Sweden
He's like-
has some weird food and drink and stuff.
He drank
Yeah.
the black coffee and he's like, I didn't throw up, so I'm awesome. And I'm like, okay,
Speaking
I'll
of, sorry to derail it for a moment, but speaking of things that you instantly regret drinking, apparently they sell Tang still. If any other Americans still know what that is.
I know what Tang is.
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
got a
seen
big,
Tang in like 10 years.
I got like a big 2-liter jug of it, and the first thing I said is, I'm gonna regret buying this. The first thing I said after taking the first sip is, I instantly regret this. Tasted terrible.
Okay.
so,
Oh.
yeah. My mom's room was France, so she had like a whole bunch of mini eclairs, and they were like delicious, and she had onion soup, which everybody loved.
Both things that I really want to try.
So,
That's
after-
the onion soup, but yeah.
yeah, after that concluded, I went and I moved out all her stuff because we were cleaning up her room, and then we took all the leftover food that all the teachers had, and I got it like half in my car, half in my mom's car, and we drove over to this shelter for abused women and children, and we donated the food there.
Oh, that was nice of you.
Yeah, good show.
It's something the school is supposed to do like every year, but they didn't have anybody to go and deliver the food. So my mom volunteered, and then I helped out so I could bring the other half of the food. So,
What kind of car do you have? I mean,
it's a Mazda, I believe 6, I believe. Yeah, Mazda 6. But it's not very big, like a. It's not a super big car, but I could fit in everything that we couldn't fit in her car, which is like a Suburban thing or whatever. I don't know. I don't know the names of cars. I'm not a car person.
yeah, that's why when you said the name of the car, I just blanked. I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
I just know Mazda for the convertibles.
it's not a
MX-5 and
convertible.
that.
It's not a convertible.
I
But
just said I'm not going to futz with my mic anymore and just smacked it immediately.
so we did that, and then on Sunday, my church was doing this community service thing, so we signed up, and I went and helped build and paint a shed for a shelter of women coming off substance abuse.
Huh.
Cereal's like
Lots of
racking up
charity work
karma
this
points.
Yeah.
So
Good guy Zero. Better than the rest of us.
Paragon of the
Combined.
wastes. Paragon of the wastes.
Speaking of which, I really got to thank you for pointing to that the Wanderer fic. I really enjoyed
Oh,
that one.
shit, I knew I forgot something.
Not so much the sequel. I didn't enjoy that one as much. I don't know why. It was kind of the same setup, but I just didn't like the Courier as much.
Yeah.
yeah. Also, this week I had exams, final exams. That was
Lovely.
That was something. That
Good
was
something?
Yeah, I guess. Also, I did. I read Kenchi's new Less Than Zero thing he released.
Oh yeah, that's a good read.
Yeah, and then I reviewed, and then I made a mistake, and then Kenchi yelled at me.
I didn't yell at you. I did the exact opposite of yell at you.
He yelled at me.
You tried to beat yourself up over something I couldn't have cared less about.
He yelled at me. You scared me.
Oh.
Okay, well, if it makes you feel better, yeah, I yelled at you.
See, I knew it. I knew
I was
it.
gonna say you're not gonna win this fight, Ken.
Alright. Also, work yesterday. And I told you how the other week that guy promised me ice cream if I finished by 10:30.
Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, I told that guy, hey, you owe me ice cream. He's like, okay. And he never got me ice cream. So now I'm going to go bust a cap
What?
in his butt. Yeah. I want my ice cream.
You are a strange individual.
Did anyone else find it adorable when Zero, of all people, just said bust a cap?
Yeah.
You don't even know what that means, Zero?
Yeah.
What does it
I
mean,
think-
Zero?
Shoot somebody? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. He
Alright.
knows, he knows. Okay.
So, also, I got this new mic. I ordered it on, like, Saturday or Sunday, and it's turning out to work really well. I've
Yeah,
been
you
liking
sound
it.
delicious.
What?
Did you just say he sounds delicious?
Yeah, I like to make everything weird now.
Okay. You've
Okay.
become my
Thing that I
brother
do.
officially.
So, yeah, that was basically my week in a very nutshell. I don't know. I was going to use an adjective, but I couldn't think of any.
Close enough.
Ken? John Gunnis?
All right. So last week, after we got off from recording, I had to go to work, and I am a news dude. And on that very particular day, we had to cover a wine festival. And because we are TV people coming there to record their wine festival, we got free wine.
Yeah.
So after the show,
Yeah.
we pretty much got blasted. After everyone's shift was over, everyone on the night shift pretty much got blasted.
Yeah.
How much wine are they giving you?
There was like I don't know how many vendors were there, but like we got like 6 different brands from like 6 different vendors. It was a lot. So
Huh.
and because there's like a skeleton crew on the weekends, so as far as production goes, there's only like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of us. Well, 9 of us on any given day on the weekend running production, so there was a lot. Aside from that, I decided to finally stop being a pussy about it and put out the new story, the DC story, Less Than Zero, as Zero has mentioned.
Mhm.
And apparently it's working out so far.
Yeah.
So
It's pretty good.
pretty stoked about that. And let's see. Oh, yesterday I had to do like training in addition to my regular shift.
Haven't you
Yes.
been working there for like 2 months?
We had to get extra training on a new editing system, which is
Oh, okay.
completely worthless to me because you've seen most of them, and I really literally could have skipped the second 2 hours of the 4 hours of training, which was tacked on to my actual work hours. I had to do my actual shift, and then I had 4 hours of training, so I was basically there for 12 hours.
You get
Which
paid
sucks.
for it
Yay.
Yeah,
though? Oh, well, that's something, I suppose.
yeah. So that was yesterday, and I'm still tired. And other than that, really nothing else. Just chilling, being Kenchi.
Not as cold as me, I can assure you that. I'm freezing.
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable right now.
I'm pretty comfortable too. Heat wave is over, guys. So no danger here this time.
Yay.
Yay! I won't be drowning in my own sweat this time. That was gross.
Yeah.
I once
Sounds
lived in Texas with 100-degree plus heat and 100% humidity. All the time
I was
during
gonna say
summer.
it's dry down there, but yeah, no, that's bad.
Yeah, over 100-degree heat and then 100% humidity all the time during the summer. And like when we were moving out from Texas, our mover guys that went up into the attic were collapsing. And when we went to a water park once, people were collapsing in line just because it was so hot.
Yeah, I'm very conflicted about the idea of Texas because RTX is there, which I would love to go one day.
I got a friend who
Meet
goes to that,
all
actually.
those awesome people that work there and stuff. That'd be great. I'd love to do that. But Texas.
It's nice during the fall and spring. It's cold. It gets super cold during the winter and super hot during the summer, though.
Yeah, RTX is in June or July.
Yeah, you don't want to go.
No, I don't want to go.
You don't want to go.
It's just
I
the
can tell you right
south
now,
of
you
the
don't wanna
south.
go.
What's wrong with it?
Like when I went from Texas to California, the first thing I said as soon as I got off the plane was, "I can breathe."
Yeah, that's like what, a 4-degree change in temperature?
Yeah, but the
So on
humidity,
the very south of your country.
the humidity. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, like you're sweating in the shade. I'm not even joking.
Which makes me understand exactly why people say like high school kids in Texas are the best football players, because you have to do 2-a-days in the summer, and I did those up here in Virginia, which sucks here. I can't imagine what it's like there. You're out on that field all day. You get like an
I
hour
imagine
break.
hellish.
I
Yeah.
imagine death.
Yeah, pretty much. It's the worst 2 to 3 weeks of your life.
During
of your year.
summer, you stay inside in Texas. You stay inside. You do not go outside. If you go outside, then you are suicidal, man.
Yeah, and I
Or
mostly
you're just
have
used to it.
do stuff in full gear and everything.
Yeah,
so
you're in full
pads
gear
and-
the whole time.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds like a bad time.
Sounds like
I
a
was
health
used-
risk is what it
Yeah.
is.
It
I lived there
is.
for like 5 years though, so I got used to the heat. But like, just being there for a first time is horrible.
Mm.
And even once you get used to it, it's still not good.
Fandom Flux likes Texas.
I do like Texas. Like I said, fucking Rooster Teeth's there, and trying to think of another plus for Texas.
That's it. That is the only
they
good
have-
thing about Texas.
they
I'm
have-
not
they
kidding.
have
They're
the Alamo.
stupidest state.
They have the Alamo.
Uh,
I went to the Alamo. I
Bowling
where
for
we-
Soup came from there.
They've got.
Who?
You know what? You know what they've got? They've got Texas-sized jelly beans.
And rattlesnakes.
Texas-sized
Everywhere.
jelly beans are humongous.
So were the rattlesnakes.
And I remember
Well,
I went
it
to
is
the
Texas,
Alamo
so.
and down by the river.
Oh yeah, and that's true too. I think the Alamo Draft House came from there.
So I went to the Alamo, and down by the river there was this restaurant, and it was called Dick's Last Resort. And basically, you go in there, and everybody acts like a dick to you.
Really?
They had a claw machine, and inside the claw machine was lobsters. They're like, just try and get it.
That's not what I would have expected from a restaurant called Dick's Last Resort. Honestly, I was expecting it to be like the I don't know, Hooters, I guess. That's the one.
Yeah, same here.
They make
Quite
they make
typical, yeah.
I got that.
while you're eating, they make insulting paper hats and put them on you. And everybody's just rude
Why would anyone go to this restaurant ever?
because it's hilarious.
I mean,
Masochism.
The
honestly,
jerks,
it just sounds like they're more blatant about it than most stores.
they're
are,
all
still.
jerks, but they're funny jerks. Is the thing.
Oh, well, okay.
Also, I have no idea whether Hooters is a relevant reference in this day and age.
Kind of.
I just know it was a thing on TV a while back, so that's I don't know.
They exist. You know,
I forget they
There's
exist.
one in the city I used to live in, and it's still around, so I think so.
the one near me
Am I
closed
being
down like a
invaded?
few
What the
months
hell?
ago.
Okay. Slicer is apparently mildly distracted.
Sorry.
Somehow. Can't imagine what he might be doing while he is recording a podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anything else, Zero?
I think I already ended my week. Wait.
Did you?
Yeah. It was somebody
No,
else's week.
it was Ken.
It's Ken.
Yeah. Zero
Yeah.
just was talking for some reason. Oh yeah, because we were talking about Texas, and he was there,
Yeah.
I think.
I don't remember what I was
Yeah.
talking about, but I didn't really do anything else that I can think of. So
He just drank wine, and then I went and did community service.
yeah, I just drank wine, did extra training
Yeah.
and stuff.
Alright. So what I did this week is I started editing the Worms Let's Play. There are 2 episodes done of it. One of them will be up on Sunday. You will already know this, audience, because this episode will be going up between Wednesday and Friday, so it will have been up for 4 days by now.
Yay!
Your time.
Okay.
So,
I'm happy about this.
Yeah. So the first episode goes up tomorrow. I'm telling the rest of the cast, so you can just ignore this, audience, because I'm being weird.
We
and
love you,
wildly
audience.
Unprofessional.
We
Yeah.
love you, audience. Deeply.
So it's going to be going up. I've got 3 more to edit, but it's not going to take very long. It's like 5 minutes. Seriously. With my supercomputer. Might be a little bit too complimentary a term, but never mind.
A little bit, yeah.
By the way, weird thing with my computer. I have 16 gig of memory. Apparently Windows can only find 4 of it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, I just remembered something. I saw Godzilla.
Did you?
Yeah, that's something else I did this week.
Any good?
It was the fight. For me, the fight at the end was worth it. Like, the characters were kind of bland, and it did what most Godzilla movies do, which is they save most of the fighting for the final fight. And
Was there a lot of fish?
Yeah, no,
No.
not really, no.
Okay, I'm not sold on this film.
But there was,
What?
but Godzilla did have a really awesome final fight, and they did a very good job of making that fight worth it. Just building it up to it and making the characters feel big. So,
I love how that reference just sailed over Slice's head, by the way.
What reference?
That's a lot of fish was a really terrible line from the 1998 Godzilla film, I think it was.
yeah.
You mean the one I never saw?
Yeah.
It's funny because they actually start it out like there's a whole before flashback thing, and it starts out at 1999. So like, forget that 1998 ever existed.
Oh, that's cute. Okay. I can understand why, because that film was not so great, but yeah.
Yeah. So,
Alright, so what else have I been doing? I have not been editing the Pokemon Let's Play because that's a pain in the ass because the quality ended up terrible. Because recording on my old computer where there was frame rate issues and slow down and stuff, and Slice's feed of the video kept cutting out, and
That was
all these
more my
problems.
fault than anything. Or my internet's fault, rather, but yeah.
Yeah, and there was audio sync issues, which I'd have to fix in editing, so that's why that's taking a while. But it's going to start coming out again, I promise. Probably next week. Oh, I really shouldn't have said that. Whoops.
Why?
Never give deadlines when you have absolutely no intention of meeting them.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah. It'll start coming out when it starts coming out. I've got other things doing at the moment.
it'll happen when it happens. That's all I'm saying.
For some reason, my first response to that is gross. I'm not entirely sure why.
Probably the tone of voice.
Yeah. What else did I do? Oh yeah, I modded the crap out of Skyrim again with
Yay.
more mods, and it actually got me starting a new writing project.
Really?
I'm writing again, yay! I found this mod called I think it's Take Notes Journal of the Dragonborn, and basically what it does is it adds a journal feature in the game. You press a hotkey and it opens a menu, and you can write journal entries, like how everyone else apparently does in the Elder Scrolls world, because everyone has a fucking journal
Yeah. Everybody does, for some
that you
reason.
finish the quest for and then immediately sell the journal for 1 gold, because you don't want that shit cluttering up your inventory. But your journal is actually pretty cool because it's got sections for like bestiary and people you've met and quests, and you can just keep a general journal of things that happen. which on a functional level is very good, because if you stop playing Skyrim for like a week, you will completely forget whatever you're trying to do. So,
Yeah, pretty much. It's like an
on a
RPG in
functional
that
level,
respect.
it makes a lot of sense, and it's very useful. For a writing perspective, it means you can chronicle the events as they go, and it has this nifty little feature where you can export the journal into a document.
Huh.
So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be playing the game, role-playing the game, and chronicling my adventure, as you might want to call it, and, you know, exporting the document and posting it to fanfiction.net with some probably embellishments added to make the story a little bit more interesting than just this is a journal entry, this is another journal entry, this is another journal entry. So,
But yeah, you got to have some filler in between, or meat,
Yeah.
rather.
Mm-hmm.
so that should be fun. Started. I found that as far as practicing your fight scenes go, Shonen is terrible.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think it, because shonen, battle, manga, anime, they're pretty much all about the fight scenes and the characters take a back seat. But the thing is, an inordinate amount of time is actually spent just on the characters, and then eventually you get to a big fight scene. If you want to practice your training montage techniques and such things, then shonen is probably the way to go. But if you want to just do fight scene after fight scene after fight scene to practice and get better at them, you're probably better off sticking with video games. Because that's all it is, a lot of the time.
Name me one major fight in Naruto where they don't have a flashback in the middle of the fight.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
Then again, maybe that's unique, I guess. I think Bleach doesn't do that.
Yeah,
Bleach does
doesn't-
that after the fight.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of series do that after a fight. So... yeah, I think what shonen actually is very, very good for, and you wouldn't think it, but what I think it's very good for is characterization practice. Because the thing about shonen, characters are very bare bones a lot of the time.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that leaves it up to you as the writer, who is writing in a literary medium, which means you have to expand on things with your words rather than through pictures,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. It lands on you to actually explain who these characters are and expand on who these characters are, because that's a lot more important in a literary media rather than just, pictures or animation. Because animation, that can be there, but it has to be a lot more subtle. Because just having everyone saying, quote-unquote, their thoughts doesn't work very well.
Not
But,
really, no.
Yeah. But with a literary medium, that feels a bit more natural. So you have a lot more opportunity to expand on characterization and take time for character interaction and such things, which there's a lot of in shonen. Like I said, you wouldn't really think it, but it's there a lot of the time, and then eventually you get one big fight scene. And there is always just one big fight scene per character, if there's more than one character. So,
There's enough time for anything else. What with all the flashbacking.
so yeah. If you want to do fight scenes, do a computer game fic. Because there will be plenty of them that way.
Mm.
I've already chronicled a epic encounter with a pack of wolves that attacked me while I was only wielding a steel dagger.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, with all the mods that I have loaded, that is a hell of an encounter.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have Skyrim Reborn, I think the full name is,
Yeah.
and it adds, it removes most of the level scaling and adds encounter zones. So if you're in a certain area, things will be higher level. And I also have Live Another Life, which means you don't start in Helgen, which is the easy area, if you're wondering, and instead start in some random location. I ended up starting in, Shipwreck Survivor, in just outside of Dawnstar, which is to the very north of the map. That's not a nice place to start the game.
I imagine those walrus things are gonna fuck you up.
I got
They
lucky
already
and I
hit
missed
pretty
them.
hard.
This is actually the second time I've started in this location. The first time, that was a grueling, 20-minute fight trying to kite them and avoid their very slow melee attacks and just chipping away at their health for 20 minutes. It was a ridiculous thing that happened. But, this time I missed them and just went straight to the city, earned some money, left the city, immediately ran into a pack of wolves, and died.
Oh.
Several times.
Hmm.
Yeah, that game's hard sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
It can be, yeah.
Yeah.
I have something similar for New Vegas, and the first mission, basically literally the tutorial where you got to kill a bunch of geckos. That's actually pretty difficult.
Yeah, it can be, yeah. I remember that. And the Powder Gangers afterwards was actually somewhat easy. I just ran up with a shotgun.
They don't really have any long range attacks, so you
I just shoot the
even
dynamite out
use
of
the
their hand.
basic rifle they give you. It's easy enough.
Yeah. Alright. After the wolves, I ran into the fort on the road to Whiterun, which was the place I wanted to go, because Dawnstar is cold, and Frostfall makes that a very bad thing. But, I should be noting down all these mods for the link dump. But there's a bandit fort on the road to Whiterun, and that's also a very high level encounter.
Yeah.
I decided, fuck it, I'm gonna rob this place, because I'm role-playing. That was fun.
Character insane?
Does your character not have any continuity to his actions?
My character is the Dragonborn, and as such has a problem with people who have power over other people, but didn't earn it. Or don't deserve it in his eyes.
How does he know he's the Dragonborn, anyway?
He doesn't. He just has these moments where he sees someone that is in power and doesn't deserve it, and decides, okay, I'm going to take this from them.
Because why not?
Alright.
So basically, he sneaks into the fort through a trap door, murders everyone inside without anyone outside knowing, steals all their shit, then runs out the front door and out the front gate and doesn't stop running until he sees an Imperial patrol.
Heroic.
That was fun to roleplay. It's good stuff. I recommend anyone listening actually give this a try and see how it works well. Not necessarily the journal thing, because that's my idea, don't steal it. But the role-playing thing, it's very fun to, pick a character and stick with it and act as they would act. So, what else did I do? I don't think I did that much else, to be honest. Played a lot of Skyrim. Yeah.
Mm.
And the video thing. Last episode went up on YouTube. Feel free to go and watch it and comment and stuff.
Yay.
And stuff.
Also on this one.
Yeah.
You wouldn't actually be hearing this if you weren't actually listening to this episode. So,
Yeah, leave a comment when you're done, I suppose.
yeah, that'd be
Or
nice.
right
It's
now,
a lot easier
if
on
you want.
fucking YouTube than it is on the Blogspot page, because you probably need an account and stuff for that. And,
My
I'm not a fan
Blogspot
of-
account hasn't seen much use. I mean, there's
Yeah,
really no
I'm-
point in making one, actually.
I'm not a fan of Google everything stuff at the moment, because it's all kind of a pain. AdSense sucks, as does Gmail. Yeah, that also happened, but it doesn't really deserve going into. I guess that's what I'm doing, so that's what we're doing done. So we're going to move on to the first of our chapter recap thingies that we apparently do. It is not a manga recap, because that's someone else's thing. We didn't steal it, honest.
Yeah, definitely not.
So, Bleach this week. Just gonna note down all those mods. Who wants to start us off on Bleach?
I read Bleach. Like, I read it through it, like, twice. And the first problem I have, and this is just, I think it might just be translation, but the guy's power is burner finger. Burner finger. What? Why? Like, you couldn't think of anything else for your power.
Apparently not.
In fairness, they already have someone that's got a flaming sword.
Yeah, I know, but
Who makes a comeback in this chapter. Go for her, I suppose.
yeah,
Kind of.
freaking
I'm not
he's-
that bothered by Burnerfinger. He is the least of all evils at this point.
he is, but he's like this one line where it's like one guy, he says, "You sticking your nose in my business?" And then the Burnerfinger guy says, "Nah, I'm sticking in my whole body." What?
Yeah,
And he's like, "Burnerfinger
that was bad.
3." He's got like lava touch, basically. Like, what the heck?
Okay.
I don't know.
So, in this chapter, we go back to Omaida, also known as Lieutenant Nobody Cares,
yeah, nobody
who is
cares.
doing things that nobody cares about.
Yeah, I
figure.
forgot he existed.
Mm-hmm. Me too. He was doing something. I should have probably made more detailed notes because this was a very forgettable chapter, but apparently at some point someone is commenting on someone's healing abilities. Was it Momo?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they say, though she's a far cry from the captain of the 4th Division. No shit. This lieutenant of a combat division isn't as good a healer as the best healer the Serete has ever had. Literally the only captain of the healing division.
Yeah.
This is surprising news. Yeah. That quote stuck out to me as weird. Admittedly, the burner finger thing was worse.
Yeah. Fucking. It's not just Burnerfinger, it's Burnerfinger 3. Is what he did. He used 3 Burnerfingers.
Is that the name of his technique?
I guess.
Apparently.
Burner finger 3.
That
I
might have
almost
been
want
just.
to read this chapter just to see this stupidity.
I think it's just Burnerfinger, and then he just says 3, like it's a technique style. Like, my technique is Burnerfinger, or like my style is Burnerfinger, and this is the technique. It's technique 3.
Oh, I bet I know what his ultimate technique. Got
5.
his whole hand, and it's just burner finger fisting.
Yeah. Oh, and also in this chapter, Ichigo shows up,
Yeah, and everybody stops to watch the heroic entry.
and he slams into a tower on accident. And then instantly he's over by the other people. And
Yeah.
his outfit looks weird.
He has
Oh,
another outfit.
Yeah, he's in like, I don't know. It
I
looks
can't-
like some weird rap thing.
I can't
Wanderer's
tell if that's a
garb, I don't
do-rag
know.
or not. Like, what? Is that like a bandana or something? Or like a what?
It's like a traveling
Yeah,
cloak.
Wanderer's
No,
garb.
the thing
or
on
some
his
shit.
head. The thing on his head. What the heck is that? Like, is that a wrap or? I can't tell. Is that some sort of like,
I assume it's a rap. Just
or is that just like you know, like a skull cap? Because at this angle, it kind of, I don't know.
who knows?
This art
Yeah.
style is baffling. And he's like, "Hey, Kenpachi, I never thought I would be able to say this, but I'm here to save you." And Kenpachi's like, "Screw you."
Yeah, I'm kind of with him on that. Screw you, Ichigo. You come back not against the really interesting opponent, but against the shitty ones that you can just dominate.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's not like
I know
that's his
that's
fault,
what
though.
happens when a character gets a power up, but still.
Like, seriously
really lame.
though, why couldn't Ichigo have fought the or at least
Imagination
Ichigo,
Lad.
yeah, Imagination Lad teamed up with Kenpachi to do that or something?
That would have been cool.
Yeah, if he teamed up with Kenpachi, but what? Instead, he has to save Kenpachi from 4 super weak and boring characters.
It was more like Kenpachi needed to have his moment where he awoke in his Shikai or whatever. Awoke, I suppose.
Shikai, yeah. But,
I still wish his release phrase was "You're making me hard."
Yeah.
That would have been so good. That would have just completely revitalized the entire series if that had been true. I'd have forgiven everything if they made that his release phrase.
But it only would matter in the anime. You're only going to say his release phrase once. This time.
Yeah, but still.
I don't think it's actually one of them that stays like that forever, like Ichigo's is.
I know, but
So-
I mean, he's not going to fight again.
Yeah,
Oh.
this is the end of the series, so it's not going to
Right.
be a thing.
yeah. It's supposed to be the end of the series, but I feel like it still has another 100 chapters.
It can feel like that, but I think they're rushing it at this point.
Yeah, because Bleach. Yeah, they kind of are, because Bleach isn't doing so hot right now in the rankings.
Understating it, but yeah, it's failing pretty hard.
It's kind of dive bombing into oblivion.
Yeah. Not that anyone's really broken up about it or anything.
Not really.
Mm.
I
I
kind of
still
already
feel like
knew it was failing, so more failure is just expected.
I still feel like Bleach should have ended after Aizen. That would have been a good ending.
Yeah, that would have been pretty solid.
It would make sense. I mean, the whole final Gatsuga thing
Yeah.
should have
Then he
killed
lost
his
his
powers
powers.
Yeah,
forever.
lose your powers, can't see ghosts anymore. There you go.
And then-
That's your-
That
Yeah.
was a natural ending to the story, and then they just said, okay,
And then they tried to milk it. Like, part of me wants to make I might be making a Bleach fix sometime in the future, no promises. But if I do, it's going to be after Aizen. And it's going to be like, this is something else that should have happened instead. Or, I don't know. I don't want to frickin'... I liked Bleach before they did all the crazy stuff they're doing now. So,
It had its charm even when Aizen was doing his weird
yeah.
thing.
Yeah. It was still fun. And then frickin' the Fullbring arc was okay, and it went down from there.
I think saying the Fullbring arc was okay is giving it too much credit.
I'm being very
Yeah.
generous with that. Being very generous. It was kind of BS, actually.
Yeah, the
complete and
Aizen
utter
thing was
BS.
dumb in a very specific way, where it was still kind of enjoyable in how ridiculous it was getting.
Yeah.
and just how he's underselling how strong he was getting.
Yeah. And then we have the Fullbring arc, which was dumb in an entirely different and entirely worse way. And now we have the Quincy thing,
Yeah.
and it's actually kind of just insulting at this point.
Pretty much.
You're destroying Bleach's memory.
Kind of. It seems a bit, hyperbolic to say that, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to remember the good times when so much crap has been piled onto it.
It really is. Man, I'm just... Okay. I think we can stop talking about Bleach now.
Yeah. Oh well. Alright, so, obviously after Bleach comes Naruto. So, I don't got anything to say for this one. I only have one thing in my notes because not much interesting happened.
It's
Everyone
filler.
got
It's,
swirly eyes.
Everyone's
like-
now everyone's now fruit on a tree apparently.
it is
Yeah.
the only manga filler I remember seeing in ever, actually.
I don't know. I think it's more that it already set up the plot and we discussed exactly where this was going to go from here, and we knew where this was going to go, and it has gone there now. It feels like filler
They just
because
had
we
to
already
actually
knew
show
this
it.
was going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm not entirely sure that's quite a fair comment, I mean, you've got to let them actually tell the story, even though we know what story they're going to tell. At least for the very short term. We don't know where it's going after this, especially for the probable dream world thing that they're going to do. Or they might not do that. It's entirely possible they won't, and Naruto and Sasuke will save the day and such.
I hope
But
not. I really want to see that Dream World thing.
Yeah,
I was actually
it
really
seems
interested in seeing that.
Yeah. But, yeah. In the meantime, we'll cut them some slack on actually telling the story and taking the time to do it, rather than just assuming we figured it out. We did, but, best not to assume these things. Anything else we want to talk about? I only have one thing in my notes, so...
Yeah, not just one tailed beast Rasen Shuriken, but 6 of them. Which is to admittedly fight the 6 meteors. But
How many meteors do you need?
apparently more than 6.
Is there not enough for you?
10. Probably a good number. Just a guess.
Why so many meteors? Where are you getting... I know where you're getting all these meteors, but still...
Seems
Can't you
like-
think of anything else?
I don't know. It seems like a logical battle strategy. Just
Throw
rocks
me.
fall, everyone dies. That's literally what's happening
Yeah.
right now. Yeah. So, my one note is, did they really just bring in the ruling class again?
Apparently.
The
'Cause,
ruling
like,
class
like
that
the-
did
like they matter.
nothing
They literally don't matter,
Ever.
even in this chapter. They were sleeping in this chapter when
after
they were
playing shogi
Before-
all night or whatever it was. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
asking why the ruling class weren't involved and why there weren't any other military forces involved.
'Cause they're playing
Question
There's your answer. They
answered,
were
I
asleep.
guess. But wow, that's a really terrible answer.
You
yeah.
asked, they answered. It was still disappointing.
So they're not even paying attention to the battle that's, involving
For
the
the
world.
fate of the world and all that. Yeah.
I gotta play some shogi and fall asleep afterwards.
Yeah. I guess it's beneficial for my story, for where it's eventually going to go if I get there, but jeez. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's
Anything
now
else?
everyone's
Yeah.
now under the ultimate genjutsu, even the animals. So because when animals are under a genjutsu, life on Earth can carry on and everything like normal. So
No,
Apparently-
actually, it can't.
exactly, that was my point. I was
The
being
planet
sarcastic.
needs them.
The entire planet, every living creature on the planet is now under a genjutsu as well. So exactly what's going to happen after everyone dies in this generation or all the animals and everything? What the fuck?
3
You
days
just-
of dehydration, I imagine that's what it's going to take. Well, probably longer for the ninja. They're probably used to surviving without basic necessities, so maybe they'd last a week without water.
Oh, they're not going to die. You know why? Because they're all a part of the great giving tree now. They're all fruit on the tree.
Yeah, no, the
Gosh,
tree will keep them
darn it.
alive. It's just like the trees and the plants and stuff like that. They need other things around.
Yeah. I feel like
I don't know. Maybe the insects would be alive. I don't know.
this feels like something that
Or-
we just don't get very well. Like, culture-wise. I mean, Naruto has not been shy about where it gets its source material from. A lot of it is based on Japanese myth and legend. I mean, you've got Minato and Kushina, which are stand-ins for Susanoo and Kushinada. You have Orochimaru and his Yamata no Orochi. You have all this stuff based on Japanese legends, and we just don't get any of it for the most part. They spend enough time explaining it in the early stages of the story, and they went in a lot of detail, But now that we're at the end game, they don't have time for that anymore, so they just go and assume that the audience will get it.
Yeah,
for
we've kinda
Japanese
left in the dust
audiences,
here.
that probably works just fine. But for any other audience that isn't well versed in Japanese culture and history, we're just so very freaking lost.
Hmm.
I suppose it's not for us. I suppose the argument would be in that sense.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I could argue that there's a responsibility on the part of the writer to make the story accessible, but is he even writing it for other audiences outside of Japan? I mean, it's distributed to other audiences outside of Japan, but that's mostly because
Money.
Western distributors saw the story and thought, yeah, this could sell. And that's pretty much what did it.
It has, actually.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people in the West, when they think of anime, they think Naruto.
Or Bleach, or Death Note, or Full Metal Alchemist at a push. But yeah, there's some big names, and that's what anime is defined as in this Western Hemisphere, let's call it that, because I'm not American.
Yeah.
So.
I say that because Naruto was on Toonami back when that was on. Well, back on a regular time anyway. It exists. It's in late night now.
I'm
Yeah,
not
there's also
entirely sure.
Dragon Ball Z. That's a big thing.
Oh yeah, Dragon Ball as well. Though
Oh,
I'm-
yeah.
I'm not entirely sure that many people actually consider that an anime when they think of anime. They just
That's just
Well,
Dragon
people-
Ball.
people that
You have
aren't
a
well
point,
versed would
though.
might just see that as a cartoon. Just think, oh, that's a cartoon.
I do actually. I do just think of it like a cartoon. I hadn't realized that until now, but I do.
Yeah, same with Pokemon, and to a lesser extent Digimon. We just saw these things and thought, oh, that's a cool show. I like this show. This is a good cartoon, and didn't even realize it was from another country.
Yeah.
Digimon.
Learn something new, I guess.
Monsters. Digimon are the champions.
No. Stop it. Stop it. We're not having karaoke hour again.
Change into digital champions to
Stop.
save the digital world.
You sound so dejected.
I even looked down as I said that.
Digital world. Yeah, okay. So that was Naruto, I guess. We don't get it. We're probably not really intended to.
Yeah, and I still feel like the only person who still knows the entire Digimon theme. Freaking
No,
nobody
I
likes
know it.
Digimon.
I do. I was in the Invisible War of Pokemon vs. Digimon. I was on the Digimon side. But we'll
Ooh.
talk about that later in the nostalgia segment.
So, next topic, first actual topic that we have is best cold open. Now, for those not in the know, as I tend to say when I explain something that some people know and some people don't, well explained, Carl. Casey. Dumbass, saying your real name. Yeah, so the cold open is how a show or film opens whatever it is and just grabs the audience's attention. It is the first minute or so, maybe, of whatever the show is. And the idea of it is that it grabs the audience's attention and holds it for long enough to get the plot going. So, for example, they will have the cold open, the audience will be like, yes, this seems amazing. I want to know what happens in this amazing story that I have just been teased by in this first minute. And then they will stick around for a certain amount of time to allow the plot to get going. And their boredom will be staved off by that, just because of that first minute that was so good. Is the idea.
All right.
So,
Were you gonna name your example? Because I got two.
okay. The example that inspired this topic was I was researching what I should use as the Disney soundtrack example. I found a video of the best, supposedly best, it was a subjective list, but best 10 songs from Disney films. And I think it might have been number one, was the Lion King opening. Yeah.
That was number one?
That is a good cold open. That is a very, very good opening for that film. I will write that down in the link dump because that needs to be demonstrated. The whole scene with Simba having just been born and Rafiki holding him up aloft at the top of Pride Rock, and the sun shines down and all of the animals kneel and the music swells and then it cuts to the title card. That is a good cold open. That is a very powerful moment.
Also iconic as hell.
Yeah.
I just kind of like when I thought of cold openings, I kept going through them, like which movies do I know that have those, and pretty much every single James Bond film has one.
Yeah, that's true.
I liked Skyfall because the way it transitioned into the actual opening, you know, where he gets shot and then he falls, and then it transitions to the whole opening movie thing that they always do every movie.
Yeah.
Also, the movie Insidious doesn't have the title sequence till the end of the movie. The entire movie is a cold open. Boom.
Okay.
And same with Insidious 2. Insidious, like, seriously. Unless I'm thinking it wrong, the actual title sequence didn't happen until the very end for Insidious 2.
I don't think that technically counts then. Sorry.
Can Spaceballs count when they have the whole funny words that grab your attention? Right
Oh,
I
there?
don't remember how. I don't
The
remember
scrolling text?
Yeah, like the Star Wars spoof, how they did the word scrolling down at the beginning, and Spaceballs did it with humorous words, humorous thing.
Actually, wait, no, the title's at the top. Gosh darn it.
That might not be interesting enough to qualify.
Yeah, likewise, I don't think Monty Python and the Holy Grail would count either. Those title translations are pretty damn funny. I
Yeah.
don't think it's quite attention grabbing enough.
I don't know. A moose bit my sister.
Yeah.
I can just say that you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Have you seen my Python?
I haven't.
And
I want to,
it's
but I never got
it's
around to
attention
it.
grabbing.
Yeah, the employee responsible for the translation subtitles has been sacked.
The guy
employee
responsible
for replacing the employee who was responsible for the translation subtitles has also
has
been
been
sacked.
sacked.
We will now be using an entirely different format for these opening credits. And then it's all fucking, I don't know, mariachi music or something. I
Yeah,
don't know
it's
what
all
it
like
was.
flashing red
Flashing
and
colours,
yellow.
and that was
and-
hard to watch, by the way.
Yeah, it was, but it grabbed your attention.
Sort of.
It grabbed your attention in a bad way.
I guess. It gives an idea of what the comedy of this film is going to be. So I guess it's successful in that sense, but I don't think we could call it the best. Really.
Infamous
Yeah.
had a decent cold open. Like the second you hit start, the entire city blows up from the race clear.
Yes.
Huh.
I
And then
agree
you wake
with
up at
there.
ground zero, and you figure out your electricity's fucking with you, and then you get to the bridge and tear up the whole bridge with your
Yep.
uncontrollable powers.
Yeah,
And
a lot of
lightning
games
just starts
do.
striking around you, and you think something's trying to kill you, but you don't realize it's you that's causing it all. It's amazing. I like that. That was very
Yeah,
well done.
a lot of games have some very good cold openings. I just wish I could remember some.
I've got two that I'm not sure if they count, but The Last of Us starts with like 2-3 minutes of getting to know Joel and his daughter, and then it's just boom right into them running for their lives from the infected, and people getting tackled and eaten and infected and stuff. And Dark Souls. Dark Souls starts with that just great video explaining basically the entire plot.
Yeah.
I'm not sold on that.
Yeah, I
Really?
mean, the whole thing of the cold open is that you're getting in the action without really getting to the plot yet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Dark Souls, it might explain the entire plot, but you wouldn't know that going in.
Yeah.
That is so abstract when you first see it. You just don't understand a word of it. And it's only after playing the game like 6 times and reading all of these story analyses on YouTube and such that you finally understand, oh, that's what that guy was. Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't think that counts. Sorry, Slicer.
I think it's been way too long since I had a blind play of any Souls game.
Yeah. So, not many games that actually try and do this.
I mean, Uncharted 2 did it. I like theirs. I mean, you just wake up at the back of a fucking train hanging off a cliff.
Yeah.
Why the fuck? And shot in the stomach. What the fuck happened? You don't find out for 2 hours what happened.
Yeah, it starts you in medias res, and that's pretty common tactic for cold opens.
Yeah.
Example I did come up with was Far Cry 3.
Oh.
That was a bit of a gut punch.
Oh yeah.
When it first starts, you get the cutscene with all the rich douchebags having fun and parachuting and stuff and things, and then bam, you are in a cage and the boss is scaring the crap out of you.
Fuck, I love boss.
Yeah. And then you escape and you get caught and you run. And it's entirely playable, and I love that. That was great. Player agency is an amazing, useful tool when it comes to telling a story.
Did
Another game
Skyrim
I
have a
think
cold opening? I can't remember.
Skyrim, I suppose it did. No, it had one, but it wasn't very good. It was very exposition dump-ish at the very beginning. With
Yeah,
the cart
I
ride,
think-
and you get all these terms like Stormcloak and Imperial, and you have the guy praying to the gods, and I'm from Rorikstead, and all that.
Too much
I
info.
remember- I
Yeah.
remember
No
first-
sense.
First playing Skyrim, I was just like looking at at like the guys at the cart, and I'm just like looking around, and I'm just like, oh yeah, look at me, I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
I'm not paying any attention to you. I'm just looking around, all crazy like.
I mean, eventually it gets there and gets somewhere interesting and attention-grabbing with the dragon attack, but that takes a while. There's like a good 5 minutes of cutscenes before that even happens.
And then the whole character creation thing, and I mean that's standard and it's a good timing for it, but it does really break the flow
Yep.
because you can spend hours at that screen just. And it's
Yeah.
not like it matters, but that's a different topic, I suppose.
Yeah.
Also, Far Cry 3 is, I think, another game that I've played too much for that to work. Because there's too many. You don't notice it the first time, but you need to hold your older brother's neck, the wound, and if you don't, the scene does not continue. So, and there's a few other things like that. You just like need to do it because it's a tutorial. So.
Oh, I see what you mean. So if you don't hold his neck, then it just continues to bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Voss just keeps saying the same lines over and over again as well.
That's disappointing. Again, player agency. They could have just let you watch him bleed out and act as if you don't have any idea what to do and you're paralyzed with indecision.
Like
And then
the
you
first time
lose.
you stab the guy after you crawl through that tunnel and his hands are shaking, that was a nice scene. I like that.
Yeah.
It was a nice touch. Also, if you wouldn't have held his neck, they would have like highlighted that later or something, called you heartless for it. Then that would have been cool.
Yeah. All these little things. There's a lot more things to pay attention to when it comes to game design when you're designing a cold open. because you have to keep the player involved, I think.
Everything needs to be involving, yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's like
a lot
humor
more
in that
work.
respect, and you can't always get it exact for everyone, because everyone has a different, idea of what's striking.
Mm.
Yeah.
Hmm. I have 7 openings for the link dump, by the way. Christ.
Yay.
Yeah. 7 openings, 4 mods, and red versus blue for the link dump. Because,
Honestly, you could turn that mod section into like an entire thing. Just list all the mods you have, if you have a list somewhere.
Maybe. Or maybe I don't list the mod that turns every woman into a buxom bombshell, and
Well, naturally, you leave that out.
maybe. Yeah. But I could list some of the better ones, I suppose.
I could list my mods too.
Hmm.
Because I also have the Skyrim.
Also the one that adds jiggle physics.
If I listed all the mods I have for New Vegas, it would, not a lot of people would be able to run it. Even my computer crashes if I have anything else open.
Mm.
It says, I get an error message that just says no memory available.
Yeah. That's a familiar message. Might be the operating system.
Yeah, probably.
Because 32-bit Windows 7 has that particular error message quite a lot. It's something to do with detecting memory, and you actually have that much memory and you can access it, but sometimes if you try, then Windows will bump you out and say, no, you don't have this, so we're not letting you use it. It's a bit strange, and it's probably the source of my problems. But, yeah. 64-bit does not have this problem, as far as I'm aware. Apparently.
Alright. So, I guess, are we good on cold openings?
Does anyone have any more suggestions? I don't think we're actually going to come up with the best cold open.
Yeah.
Probably not. Let's see. Halo, maybe? No, that starts with a moving tutorial where you gotta set your directional
very
buttons and
slow
stuff.
tutorial and stuff.
Yeah. The rest of the level would act as a pretty great cold start, but no, that's immediately after you start. I guess that would take you out of it.
I kind of like ODST's opening, where you're in a drop pod.
Oh yeah,
That was a
and you
pretty
have to
good one,
cast
yeah.
a firefly talking to you.
They are basically, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that was something.
I don't know why this is so unpopular, but ODST is actually my favorite Halo in the franchise.
I really like it.
No Master Chief, and apparently the missions were a little bit boring. I never played it, to be honest.
It was a lot of fun because you actually get the feeling that you're outnumbered, and that you are going to get screwed if you don't use your wits.
Yeah, because the ODSTs are not Spartans.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately,
Honestly,
if memory serves, they actually play a little bit like Spartans, and they shouldn't.
a little bit. They can't jump as high, but they have a stamina bar instead of a shield, which acts as the same thing. The game would be unplayable without that, though. So I mean, that's like gameplay stuff over.
Yeah, and I don't think your melee is as powerful. So you can't just run up and melee everything to death.
Yeah, it's lots of little things, I guess, but it's functionally similar enough that it's jarring, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I never played that one.
Yeah, I like killing. I like being able to kill something and steal a ghost, and that was just fantastic because the entire time I was on foot.
Oh yeah, the hijack thing.
Freaking, once you get a vehicle, it's so much fun.
Tell you what I do think about The Lion King, going back to that just briefly. I think it might actually be too good. Yeah. Paul Dugan did a review of the soundtrack of The Lion King, and he pointed this out, and it's like, that moment is just so powerful, And then it goes into wacky comedy with Rowan Atkinson playing a bird of some tropical variety. I forget what it is. Zazu. And Scar playing with a mouse or something.
Yeah, so basically
That's
the
all.
opening was so powerful that it made the rest of the movie feel bad.
Just those few moments after the opening, but yes.
Yeah.
Because it's all this powerful bombast, and then
The drum stopped.
kind of fucking comedy horns and stuff and things, and fucking silly. And it's kind of a letdown a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't fit very well. Never mind. Still an amazing film. Yeah. If
Yeah.
you have never seen The Lion King, you should probably watch it.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things you need to see.
Yeah.
It's just too iconic.
Yeah. Not so much the sequels.
They have sequels? What?
Yeah, there's
Yes.
like a bunch of them.
Huh.
There's a Lion King 2, which is rubbish. It's if The Lion King was Hamlet with lions, this is Romeo and Juliet with lions. Yeah. But it's weird that they actually stuck with Shakespeare plays or pseudo Shakespeare plays for the whole thing. But they also do a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead thing, which is Lion King 1.5, I think.
Mm.
Which is Timon and Pumbaa getting implanted into every scene of the original film.
What?
Yeah. So, if you're not familiar with the play Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern were bit characters in Hamlet. They're in it very briefly. You wouldn't even know they were there if there wasn't one line of exposition saying they're dead at the very end of the play. And basically, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead is them being there for all of the major events of the play, but just not quite important enough in the events to, be mentioned. So it's the same idea with Timon and Pumbaa. They're there for all the big moments. They're sort of hiding in a corner during the hyena march. They're there at the Circle of Life thing with all the animals bowing and stuff.
Wait,
Yeah.
They wouldn't exist at that point. They would be. I don't think they're that old.
How old was Simba when he went to meet them? I mean, he was still a cub, so he's what, like 2?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
How long does it take for a lion to...
Oh God,
grow
we're
to
gonna
full
get into
size?
this.
Yeah. I mean, Timon and Pumbaa were ostensibly adults at that point in time,
Yeah,
so they would exist, sure.
yeah.
I can buy that. We got a bit off track.
Yeah, we did.
A little bit.
Happens sometimes. Any other good cold opens?
I'm trying to think of a shooting movie that has them.
Shoot 'em up. I watched that one recently. It's just I may or may not have mentioned it on the podcast, but it's the stupidest action movie ever. And
Yes,
it's
you don't
awesome.
understand. There's no plot to the movie for like 45 minutes.
Like the bad guys pass, or no, this girl runs past this guy on a bench. She's heavily pregnant, and then a bad guy runs after her. So the main character is just like whatever, and then he goes after him and then shoots a bunch of dudes, and she gives birth in the middle of this gunfight. And
Really?
Yes.
yeah,
I just want to say I was born on the battlefield.
yeah,
That's just...
Okay.
Gosh.
That's an appropriate reference. Good for you. Yeah. I feel like we should have at least one TV show that gets a shout out for cold openings. So I'm going to go back to the one thing that I keep humping over and over again, and that would be Arrow. That has a decent cold open.
yeah.
With Oliver just stranded on the island in his iconic green hood outfit with a big beard, which he's known for in the comics, but he doesn't have in the show very much. And he sees a ship off the coast and immediately fires an arrow, flaming arrow, onto a bonfire that's like 300 feet away. Big arcing shot, sets the entire thing on fire in a big explosive fireball, and then we have the rescue thing that happens, and it's attention grabbing. It's not huge, dramatic moment or anything, but it pretty much gives you the basic idea of what this plot's going to be. He's a survivor and he's come back different. And then it goes on to explain how he's different. It's a functional one. It's a TV show, so it's probably shouldn't be expected to stand up to some of these big, more, let's say, explosive openings, but it's good.
Yeah, the series has to go on for a while. You can't just have something explode. Something
I just thought of one.
I guess.
During the last season of Breaking Bad, it had some really good cold openings where they were showing Walt, like with his hair growing back, and he's just alone, and he goes to his car and he opens it and there's just a bunch of guns in the back, and you're just like, what? And then like all these scenes that they they do it multiple times to show a little bit of the future, as in the cold opening, and then at the final episode you're like, oh,
yeah, I remember that. Like, the one that really sticks in my mind and was kind of annoying was I think it was the second season where it's flash forwarding to the plane crash or something.
Yeah,
all the debris that's everywhere, and it tricks you into thinking, oh, he had his house raided at the end of the season. Oh, I wonder how that happened. No, that didn't happen. Nothing like that happened.
Yeah, that one was completely just trolling you the entire time.
Yeah.
But
I was not a fan of that.
The final season flash forward things were done pretty well.
I only watched halfway into season 4, so I don't know. I've been spoiled entirely, so you don't need to worry about it, but still. Yeah. Okay, I think we're done for cold opens. How long have we been going? Jesus.
Like an hour.
I don't know.
An hour and 25 minutes. Okay, we're going to move this along a little bit.
Yeah. And we were worried about not having enough time. Or not having enough topics.
I wasn't, actually, but, tell you what, we're going to drop one of these topics and do it next week.
Alright.
I think it was Tempest Tropa. You suggested we talk about our own personal preferences for music. Yeah, we're going to do that next week. Sorry. We spent an hour and a half talking about openings, so...
So sorry.
So...
I'm pretty sure he'll be cool with it. He's just like, just use the stuff I suggest whenever.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so next topic. And the only other topic we're going to do, actual topics. So, restraint and recharacterization. So, what this means is, because I always have to come up with fancy titles for all our topics, you are writing a fanfic, and you are changing some things about how the history of the world that you're writing in works, and what happened, and all the events, and you use this as an excuse to change your characters, whether that be the main character or some of the side characters, and this is all about where you have to draw the line as far as changing the characters goes. Okay?
This is separate from flanderization in the sense that it's not dumbing them down to one quirk, it's changing things entirely?
Yes, it's changing them so it could be argued that they are not even the same person, theoretically. For example, Ken made some... I'm trying to think of a good example, and I'm struggling with Ken for some reason, I don't know why.
Okay, an AU fic where Naruto is raised differently, or even in a separate universe.
Tell you what, I'm going to cheat and use my own fic. Harry Potter raised by ninja. and raised by the Nara clan. So he has a bit of an inferiority complex. He has not been abused, so he's not like
A wallflower.
really, yeah, he's not really a wallflower. He doesn't mind being the center of attention. He doesn't mind, but he's not overly big on it.
Mm-hmm.
And is very ambitious and isn't willing to just stand
Mostly
on the
because he
sidelines.
doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to be lazy like the rest of his clan, is what
Yeah.
I'm getting from it.
Yeah. His entire clan
Mostly-
is gifted and is thus lazy. And he
Yeah.
is not gifted and does not want to be seen as inferior to someone that doesn't even bother to work. So, is where I'm taking the character at the moment. And that is clearly very, very different from how the character is portrayed in the Harry Potter books, obviously. And that's
Yeah.
entirely a product of his upbringing and his location and how he has been trained in the military as what is basically a child soldier. Happens.
It's all explainable and it makes sense though, so it's not
Yes.
extreme. You can't point
Yeah.
to a single character trait and not come up with a reason why it exists.
Yes. And that's
Yeah.
pretty much the basis of how you recharacterize your characters based
Nice
on
save.
how the world has changed. You figure out how that would change your character, not how you want to change your character and how you change the world to change your character that way.
Yeah, like, frickin', in my fic, Another Minato, I just made it so that Minato went insane. He kind of did. He was trapped in a small tube for 1,000 years, so... Yeah.
And
Kinda
that
lost
might
his
have
mind.
that effect. And
Yeah.
again, how stable he was in the first place, being a zero, up for
Mm,
debate.
They prefer wild card, thank you very much.
yeah, I understand that. But, you know, there's also, like, the fact that all of a sudden now he can hear his personas in his head. Like, is he really hearing his personas or just other voices that he conjured up?
That's
And that might not be considered recharacterization as much as
Yeah, I
it is
know.
character
That's just-
development, because
Yeah, it's an addition. It's an
Yeah.
addition because of his insanity. I don't know.
maybe.
Which is
we don't
another-
know that he
it's-
can't hear him in canon, honestly.
it's
Yeah,
another
you don't know that.
way to do recharacterization. You don't necessarily have to change the world around them, but have them experience things that had
That-
not been experienced in canon. So you could move it forward in time. So they've done everything that they actually did in the plot of whatever it was they were in.
Yeah, it's just things now have changed
Yeah.
again, and they've been more developed.
Yeah, and they have greater experiences and different experiences, and have developed as a result of that. Yes.
Like, Ken, you've done that a lot with Naruto. Like, you move him forward in time, and he's been living for, like, a long time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Mm.
And so he's not exactly the same, because why would he be the same?
Yeah. I mean, in particular, obviously the ones that you move forward in time, what were they called?
Shinobi of the High Seas and True
Shinobi
Warriors
High
Never Die.
Seas and the other one, True Warriors Never Die or something. That's the Bleach one, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, in those ones, Canon Naruto is kind of an, I'm gonna help everybody and save the world and all that stuff, and now he kind of gives a bit less for shit a lot of the time. He still wants
Yeah.
to save the world and everything, which is true to the character. He doesn't give up on things just because, but he's less empathetic, let's say. He still cares, but he doesn't quite feel it as he might once have
Because-
100 years ago
because the
or
world is
2,000 years ago.
Because the world is huge, and not
Yeah.
just a continent of people that know each other and are the same culture and everything.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then,
So-
the other crossover are pretty much like he's a teenager in like the Street Fighter universe. He's different because he left when he was 12, 13, whatever. He didn't have the Jiraiya moments. He didn't have a
Yeah.
lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Plus, he's in a world that is pretty much peaceful, so he's not a soldier anymore.
Yeah.
he's not fighting for the sake of his village or anything, or to make the world peaceful or anything so high as that. He just wants to protect his friends, and that's
Yeah.
pretty much it. And he uses the ninja thing as like a side business.
Yeah, my personal what I say on this whole recharacterization thing, and what I think most people should take away from this is that when you're recharacterizing somebody, like, you have to take into account what happens and what doesn't happen, and how that changes them logically.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be a very logical approach so people can actually follow what you're doing and be like, oh, I can see that, I can see why.
Yeah. It's, yeah, I'd say planning is an important part,
Mm-hmm.
but don't overdo it. Feel free to sometimes let your characters run away from you and develop themselves,
Yeah.
because that can be pretty fun, to be honest with you. So, a last thing. It's not really relevant to the topic at hand, but I just felt like saying it.
And so Zero's method of just having him trapped in a tube for 1,000 years was, you could get away with a lot with that. It's I don't want to call it a shortcut because that's mean, I suppose, but
It was me trying to make him fit into that world somehow, and then he ended up being trapped in a tube because otherwise he would have been out before everyone else, and he would have completely destroyed the entire plot of Sekirei. So he had to be trapped in it, and because he was trapped in it, I'm like, how is he going to change? And I'm like, oh, he's kind of gone insane.
Yeah, I suppose it was a matter of changing the entire plot of the story or change one character, and you chose one character because that's a hell of a lot less work for a story that you didn't really want to do that much in the first place.
Yeah, it's just a side thing, you know?
alternatively, he could have just been out of the country until then, like moved back or something. I've seen that used a lot too. But I think being trapped in the tube and the craziness that was from it, it's pretty defining as a character trait for him in that fic.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was the best method to use.
Yeah. So
It's also just hilarious how he does a captain's log while he's trapped in there.
you're not recording anything, you're just saying things. Shut up. Let me...
I know, that's why he's going insane.
Anyway, anyone got anything else to say for restraint and recharacterization? Obviously, don't go too far is basic watchword for this whole idea.
Moderation, pretty much. Also, explainability, maybe?
Yeah. Make it fit, have reasons for every change. That's it. Pretty much all you need.
And you can get away with one random weird event that changes them in some specific way, but not... You don't... If you need more than one chapter full of flashbacks, or even just one, more than one flashback, then stop.
Yeah. In fact, might be a good idea. Not necessarily, obviously. Choose your own methods, but maybe establish at the very beginning the reasons why they're different. Just pick out very specific events that change them drastically. And then if you need to, later on in the story, you can fill in the blanks. Maybe. If you really need to. Just try not to waste time by going over their entire childhood a second time.
Yeah, it's a little much.
Yeah, I've seen it happen, and those stories never go anywhere because they get so distracted by the childhood thing.
Oh, yeah. If the first chapter is somewhere in the future and the second chapter is all the way back to their childhood, I will drop the fic immediately. No questions asked. I hate that plot device kind of thing.
Yeah,
Just,
I don't hate it. It's just people can get trapped there. And while, yes, I can it's entirely possible for you to write a story, keep writing it, and then eventually you'll figure out, oh, I'm not even writing that story I wanted to write in the first place. I'm writing an entirely different story. Whoops.
Yeah.
And while that's a bad thing for your readers because they were expecting one thing and you gave them another, it's not really a bad thing as a writer. You just need to reevaluate what the story is you're writing.
Or chop off the first chapter so they don't expect something else.
Yeah, just reevaluate, reformat the story so it is the story you're telling rather than the story you were supposedly going to tell.
I just thought, like,
And you'll come off
chop
better for
off, chop off the first chapter and just put the title of your story in like a small paragraph, and be like, "There, that's the first chapter."
It would fix a lot of problems for a lot of fics that are like that. I've actually seen a fic get most of the way through catching up, and the author just got sick of people saying, "Get on with it already." But really, what do you expect?
Yeah, it's a fair comment. If you're gonna get trapped, then sell it. Just go with it. Don't even pretend anymore. If you're writing something that wasn't what you were originally gonna write, then just write what you're writing now, because that's apparently what you want to do.
That or start skimming like hell, like months in sentences.
Yeah, you could do that, but I'm not entirely sure how satisfied you would be with that, because you would basically be skipping over the story you supposedly want to write. I mean, we do this for entertainment. We entertain ourselves by coming up with stories that we want to see told, but never will be because, lawyers and such. I'm going to blame lawyers for pretty much everything that is wrong with,
Yay!
storytelling properties, I guess. Yeah. So, what were we talking about?
I don't know.
I blanked for
We were
a second.
talking about restraint and recharacterization, then we got off topic, and then we got off topic again.
All right.
Yes. Oh, yeah, we were talking about the fucking... I blanked completely for a second there. We were talking about, not telling the right story, supposedly. Yeah, just, if you're writing a story, write your story as you want to write it. If people are telling you, oh, you're supposedly writing something else, then say, okay, sorry, I was going to write that, but then I got really distracted by this, and this is more interesting to me now, so I'm just going to write this instead. Just cop to it. If it happens, it happens, and you can't really do much about it because that's what you want to do.
Alright. We got some questions.
We do have some questions. We have we had 3 questions, technically, but one of them got cut for the sake of time because we are at 1 hour and 40 at the moment.
Yeah, speeding right along here.
Yeah, so, this question was left by, Neil. This one was. We skipped it last time because he's being a dick and asking his questions when we're recording. We caught you asshole. We love you, Neil.
We love you.
Yeah, we do, actually. You're a fan, so it's good. You're a fluxer. We're going to call you, the fans, the fluxers, because we need a...
Or just call him a blade. Fan blade.
Yeah. Going with the
That's actually
time-honored
good, too.
tradition of shortened names like that being absolutely idiotic.
Blade.
Like bronies
Flux.
and Narutards.
Blade.
Join the fan blades. Be a blade. That sounds cool. I want to be a blade.
Okay, yeah, we'll go with the blades. God damn it.
It's also a nice
I came
little
up with a
Elder
really
Scrolls
dumb name and you
reference.
came up with an awesome one. Damn it.
Yeah, okay. That breaks the streak. That is kind of cool. It took me
Yeah,
a second to
okay.
get
I
you
wanna
that
be a
fan
blade.
blades, but yeah.
Okay, so
Alright, I'm
Let's see how
done.
many blades this fan can get.
I'm good. I'm good.
okay. So, Neil's question. Neil the Blades question. Best Pokemon gen out of the first 3. So we're ignoring 4, 5, and 6 because we all kind of hate them. 6 was okay, I guess.
Eh.
It was pretty okay.
I-
I like Talonflame. That's a good Pokemon. Firebird, it's awesome.
I'm not too keen on 5.
No one is.
Yeah, 4 was okay. That was
4 was
you know,
kind of meh. I was just
it
not
was
impressed.
meh, but it wasn't like as bad as it could have been.
Okay, so 1, 2, or 3.
I'm just gonna go out on a limb right now and say 3 is the weakest of the 3 that we have access to
Really?
choose from.
I was
a lot of
looking at
people
the
really
list
like
earlier of Pokemon, and it seems like they really hit their stride here with the creativity.
A lot of people really
Or at least
like
cool-looking
3.
Pokemon.
Admittedly, that's because a lot of the people on the internet nowadays are the people that grew up with Gen 3. the Ruby
Yeah.
and Sapphire gen.
I grew up
So-
on Gen 1. That's me. But I'm kind of leaning towards Gen 2.
Have you got a link to the list of Pokemon, by the way, Slicer, that you could send me?
No. It was on my Chrome, and I have that down. So, no. Sorry.
Okay.
Just type in, I think I typed in Pokemon Gen 3 list, and then into Google, and that did it.
Just type in a list of Pokemon. It'll give
Yeah,
you
I
all
just
of
did.
As much as I like Gen 1, I feel like they improved with Gen 2, and then Gen 3 was a big creative bunch of creativity, or whatever. They had Rayquaza in Gen 3. That made me happy.
Yeah, but they also had Regirock and Regice and Registeel.
And Regiphil to me.
Fuck you, Reggie.
And
I
those-
have
they
to
also
agree with
had,
Slicer. There's a lot of good Pokemon on this list.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
also
Gen
had
3
Ralts, Curly,
is-
and Gardevoir, the waifu of furries everywhere. So I'm gonna say 3 is the best for that reason.
Fairies-ish,
The waifu of everybody who's ever played Pokemon.
pretty much. I think it's adorable. He's
Yeah.
playing with the glass.
Sorry.
Yeah, that
That
really
was
came
loud.
through on the mic, so don't do that anymore. You have a
Okay.
desktop mic now, you can't really play with the table at all. Because it will come through. To quote Gus Sorolla, stop hitting the desk, as it were. Seriously, we
Oop.
can actually hear that, I'm not even kidding.
I hit the desk.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, we can hear it. It's just as loud as you, so.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, Generation 2 kind of seems like an expansion pack on 1 to me.
A little bit, yeah. There's a lot of good ones in 2 as well, but there's also a lot of crap. The starters I really like in 2,
Yeah.
except for Totodile, that one sucks. But,
Yeah.
Totodile was most useless out of the 3.
yeah,
Some people
Chikorita
love-
and Cyndaquil, I really like those Pokemon. They were great.
Yeah, I
designs.
really like Cyndaquil. And like his
Okay,
second evolution is like one of my favorite evolutions.
I might get a shit ton of hate for this, but I think 2 and 3, mostly 3, are the first Pokemon ones. Season 1 is just fancy animals. A lot of them are. I mean, Ekans, it's just a snake.
He has a point. A lot of them are just animals with occasionally having fire powers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You have a fire dog, you have an electric mouse, you have water fish,
And a bird that is just a bird.
and a bird.
Bunch of
that's a
birds
bird.
that are bunch of
Yeah.
birds are just birds.
Yeah.
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 Well, 2 actually, but yeah,
I feel like
3,
I
4.
feel like
4.
Gen 3 is when they really kind of broke away and kind of were like, okay, we're going to make a bunch of Pokemon and they're going to be freaking unique. I mean, you've
We're
got
gonna make
like
a franchise
Mawile.
out of this thing.
You got Mawile with like the big freaking second mouth coming out of its head. You've got like Girafarig, which has like, it's like 2 halves
What
of
the hell
a,
is
it's like-
Lombre supposed to be?
It's
A plant Mexican.
I know it's supposed to be Mexican.
Yeah.
It has a sombrero, but
I'm just
not
saying,
that.
yeah.
Sorry.
Freaking Gen 3 has starts off with the more unique Pokemon.
Yeah, I might actually have to go with Gen 3. It wasn't my favorite game. There was way too much time spent in the water in that game. But a lot
Yeah.
of the Pokemon were a lot more interesting.
you talk
Yeah.
me into it.
Blaziken and freaking
Okay.
Mudkip.
Yeah, I found it. Ludicolo, the evolved form of Lombre, is basically a pineapple combined with a duck.
That's great. That is
Awesome.
great. You want creativity? There you go. Pineapples and ducks combined.
Yeah, this wins. Gen 3 wins. It just
Gen 3
does.
wins.
That means I win. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna make an argument for Gen 2, but that was just based on the fact that Ampharos is in Gen 2. Fucking
yeah.
electric sheep. That was clever, but it doesn't save the fact that most of the other ones were a bit rubbish.
Plus, the legendaries in Gen 3 are very, very unique. As in, like, design-wise. Because,
Were they?
you got the 3 legendary birds.
You got the 3 legendary rocks.
Well, I'm not talking about the rocks. I'm talking about, like,
And the most
Groudon and Kyogre are very unique
and the two
stylistically.
most useless legendaries ever, Latios and Latias.
Useless, but I'm talking about design, you know?
Their design wasn't even that good for Latios and Latias.
It stands out, though.
They didn't. They were just red and blue.
I'm talking about Groudon and Kyogre.
And they vaguely
Freaking Latios
resemble
and Latias,
Lugia.
I don't care about Latios and Latias, but Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza, those were 3 solid designs.
The big land dinosaur, the big water whale, and the dragon.
Okay, legendaries have never
Screw
been
you
very
guys.
wowing. Okay, they're just whatever.
Yeah.
Deoxys, I'll give you. That was a very interesting one.
Yeah, Deoxys is really cool.
Yeah.
One of my favorite legendaries of all time.
Yeah,
so.
it's when they first started getting to the different forms thing, which
Yeah.
they went a bit too far with in Gen 6, but for
Yeah.
Gens 4 and 5, where they had, 3 to 5, when they had Deoxys and Arceus, and probably some others that I'm forgetting.
What are the legendaries
Alright, so-
of Gen 6?
Legendaries of Gens, you've got X and Y, the deer thing and the dark bird thing.
got,
And you got the snake
okay,
thing
yeah.
that's not released
You got Xerneas and Yveltal.
yet. Yeah, and
Zygarde.
which is a weird snake thing that's got a
And
peacock
Mewtwo
plumage.
shows up. But he's Gen 1.
Yeah, so he doesn't count. Oh, and
I still want to
Diancie.
reach for a shotgun every time I see that deer. That's yeah.
Diancie,
I
that's
like
the one.
Yveltal better than freaking that deer because
Yeah.
Yveltal's attack, one of his signature attack, is he shoots a laser beam at you that drains your life.
Yeah, it's a dark flying type. There aren't enough of those. There's one.
Yeah.
It's fucking
He
Murkrow.
flies up, shoots like a giant laser beam, like DBZ style, at you. You take damage, and then he just recovers, and he's like, "What?"
Mm.
Whereas the signature move for Xerneas is literally useless.
What's it do?
I don't even remember. It's just like some sort of like buff or something.
Well, there you go. It's a buff. It's useless.
Yeah.
The most useless move in history, the most useless signature move
It-
in history is Splash.
Like which listener do you want? You want the one that shoots a giant laser beam that sucks other enemies' life out, or do you want a deer which can do
Okay,
a little buff?
I can settle this very quickly if you just give me a second while I look at their type weaknesses.
It probably tastes delicious.
Legendary haunt.
It looks like Yveltal is actually better. Slightly, as far as resistances go. And could probably be a lot more tanky. Because of that move that Zero just described that heals you and damages the enemy. So, yeah, Yveltal's better. Fucking names, really. Yveltal is better functionally as well as in design-wise.
Oh,
So,
it was
there you
Geomancy.
go.
It was Geomancy. I think it's
The
its
Y
special
Pokemon
move.
is better.
Basically, it takes 2 turns to raise your special attack, special defense, and speed by 2 stages each. Yeah.
That's rubbish. You could just
I think
use
it's
the one
either
move that raises all
Geomancy-
3 of those stats
I
and
think
do that
it's
twice, and you get the same effect.
Geomancy, I can't remember. I'm gonna just double check. Yeah, it is Geomancy. That's its signature move. 2 turns to raise special attack, special defense, and speed by 2 stages. And it is completely and utterly useless.
Is it a weather-based move? Like, for example, Solar Beam.
Nope.
If it's a sunny day, then you can.
It's a
use
fairy
that one
move.
turn.
It's entirely
Yeah,
useless.
Okay, in that case, that move is entirely useless.
So,
Yep.
Yeah.
We should probably move on. Actually, we're quickly approaching 2 hours, and we still got
Whoops.
one question left.
Yeah, we got distracted again. Sorry about that. What's the next question? What do you view with nostalgia, and is it still good?
Hell yes. I mentioned this before, but after school
Yeah.
every day, I used to watch the first season of Digimon, and I've rewatched it, and the first season is still great. 3 didn't hold up so well, but 1 and 2, lesser 2, but mostly
I'm just
1.
gonna
Held up
go
really great.
ahead and say I view all of Nintendo for nostalgia. Yes. Nintendo is
God,
nostalgia
yes. All the,
personified
Zelda,
right now.
Link to the Past.
Turned into
Yeah.
a business, basically. Yes.
Pretty much. I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't put much stock in nostalgia anymore. I'm a bit jaded that way.
Nintendo. Yeah.
But I guess the Sonic games from way back when, like
If you
3
played
and
them
Knuckles
recently,
was
Yeah.
pretty
for me,
amazing
it's
back
Sonic
in the
Adventure
day, and
games.
still pretty good right now. That's some nostalgia
do
levels
not.
right there.
They do
Those
not.
do not play well.
But still.
I
Yeah.
play Sonic Adventure 2 every once in a while, and I enjoy it.
Freaking Adventure 2.
Mostly the Chow Garden.
That
I mean,
Chow
the
Garden that they made
actual
is
game
so
itself is
unique,
kinda
and
trash,
it never
but-
appears again. And I hate that. Because it was
Yep.
such a good concept, and it works
Pretty
so
much.
well.
Funny thing that fans have been begging for it to come back ever since they got rid of it, and nope, not even considered it.
This is
Yeah.
Sega. They're allergic to money.
Well, yeah. If you want Chow, there's still Omo Chow.
Oh God. Ugh,
Fun
I hate
fact, by
that
the
thing.
way, Omo Chow is now voiced by
So,
Laura
of
Bailey.
course, there's,
Of course.
okay.
Anytime I get the opportunity, guys, honestly.
Put your pants back on.
That was a very non-committal noise.
Dude, you're saying that, really?
I have pants on.
You
Yeah.
were nicknamed in the Worms Let's Play Pantsless. I forget
Yeah.
why, but you were.
Oh,
Zero
Because
thought
how many
that
times
was a
were we
fair
recording
reference
back
to you.
then, and you said, I'm not even wearing pants right now.
Most of the time that was joking, but yeah. And Worms
Most
too.
of
I
the
used to play them
time.
in the N64 all the time. That game still holds up really well. Actually, we played it, so you should all know that.
What game is that?
Yeah.
Worms
Freaking
Armageddon.
Earthquake.
Oh, yeah. That's still a good game. Play it on the
Earthquake is
Xbox
how I won.
versions or on
Earthquake is
PC.
how Casey
All good.
won.
All good games.
It's just. Yeah.
I think Carpet Bombs are how
Like
everyone
freaking
won.
everything was just destroyed. It was lovely.
That was the
we're-
first
We're
three
spoiling things that
turns.
definitely aren't out yet now. So,
Oh, right. Yeah, we should stop that.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that was a fun time. We should do another one of those.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know when. I had some ideas for other Let's Plays we can do, but we need people to have money first.
I just bought a new mic, so.
Yeah.
Money? What money?
Yeah.
Anyway, recommendations time? Or do we have another question?
Recommendations.
I'm gonna
If we have
recommend-
recommendations. Do we have recommendations? Did I miss anything in the link dump? Because I still have the.
I'm
opening
gonna
one, so-
recommend Less Than Zero by Kenchi618
Screw it.
because it's
It's an
just
okay
pretty
story.
nice right now, and I'm liking it.
You
you're just
shilling
first,
whore.
You can tell you're first just
Yeah.
dipping your toes into the DC universe for the first time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's
nice.
a good story. Worth reading.
Oh, you put me on the spot.
I review bombed and then got yelled at, so you know.
I didn't yell at you. I didn't even. I didn't even.
The first
write anything
PM
that
you
could be
sent to me was
construed
all
as yelling
caps.
at you. No, it wasn't.
I'm
There
gonna
was
go
like
look it
one
up right
word,
now.
Caps. Just to emphasize it.
It was
yeah,
a
well.
One sentence, maybe.
Listen, he's pulling a Gamagori here, so just go with it.
don't let me have any fun.
Yeah, well. I graced him with my wisdom once, and he just completely
Wait,
ignored
what?
me, so whatever.
Which one?
It was for history's strongest shinobi, and he got it wrong that he thought the Japanese school year finishes in the summer.
I didn't ignore that. I actually changed that.
Oh, cool.
I changed
Yeah.
it to being ambiguous as when I was talking about. I didn't say I took summer out of it completely.
So
Yeah, okay. At least you fixed it, but you didn't even acknowledge the fact that I was being so magnanimous as to share my undying wisdom with you.
What did you want me
Yeah,
to
you
do?
came down from the heavens and shared your gift.
I was so
Such a
proud of
humble
that.
man
Just
you are.
no reaction.
Kenchi,
Well, I'm sorry.
It
I
was
didn't
5
sell it.
words,
Yeah.
followed by an exclamation point.
Ooh. Were
See,
there
this
any?
is what happens when you get popular, Kenchi. People get butthurt when you don't respond
I'm
to
just
them well
messing with you,
enough.
though. Yeah, it's okay.
Oh. Good stuff. Good stuff. Other recommendations? We're almost at 2 hours, by the way.
Yeah. I got Digimon Fic Season 1, actually. The Teacher of All Things. I don't know if you guys have read it, but there's a Digimon manga. And it's kind of like Tai and sort of Vmon, but like an earlier version of Vmon. And
So
they
is that
kind
like
of save
their
the digital world
response
by
to
themselves
the
instead of with a
fucking
team.
Pokemon Adventures manga?
Maybe. It might. I don't know the time frame of those things. But anyway, this fic is Tai has already gone through that and done that. And unfortunately, the original version of Digimon were actually just like Tamagotchis. So they had a battery life and his partner died. So Tai is essentially a war veteran in that one in a way, and with the PTSD that comes along with it. So it's got some really interesting moments so far. I'm only a few chapters in, but it's definitely worth a read if you like Digimon.
Okay, so what was that called again?
The Teacher of All Things. I linked it
Digimon are
a while
the
back.
champions.
Okay.
Really, the lyrics for the Digimon song are just like Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions, and like one other verse. Yeah. Change
That's actually singing,
into
yeah, pretty much.
digital champions to save the digital world.
That song is all chorus and a
Digimon-
bridge.
Digimon are the
It's all
champions. It
chorus
just
and a
repeats
bridge.
over and over and over and over again. That's why I love it.
I refuse to sing that on principle. It's all chorus and no bridge. I mean, one bridge and all chorus. I refuse to sing it off of bass.
Yeah, but you'll sing Pokemon. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because there's lyrics to it.
And the Mulan song.
Full verse, chorus,
They
structure.
sent me daughters when I asked for sons.
No, we did that last
Okay.
week,
Yeah, we did do
We
that
did.
last week.
You know
Don't do
what?
that again.
and I did it better
Screw
than you.
you. And your bias.
He kind of did because he's sang the whole thing. You just you get the last few words
Well,
of every line.
Yeah. Call and response style, that was good. It was good. I don't know how that actually sounded when I actually edited it because I don't know.
I listened to it. It sounded good.
Oh, did it still do the call and response thing? Kenchi said the
I
line.
think it might have been
Zero
just some lag.
echoed it at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. It was, but it still sounded better than it would have if you just done it normally. So.
Yeah. Bit of a mess audio-wise. We are getting off topic again. God damn it.
Yeah. Well.
I don't even have
Anyone else got
anything,
any recommendations?
but I would like to close on a question to Slicer afterwards.
Okay.
'Cause I don't have anything this week.
Fair enough. So that's a no then. Alright. And abrupt ending because we're like really running it up to like 2 hours right now. So I would like to thank everybody for listening to the Fandom Flux Podcast episode 36. If you would like to get in contact with us, you can do so through the box art page of the comments or the personal profiles on fanfictions.net or through our own YouTube channel. We have comments there. It's much easier than using the blogspot page. So once again, thanks for listening to the Fandom Flux Podcast episode
Bye.
36. Bye now.
Bye.
See ya.